On RetroFab Diaries now, we are talking etiquette with a hospitality consultant, Wilma. Today we are talking about business meal etiquette.
Now we'll come to the table setting itself.
Okay.
Now this is what we call, you'll see that as the setting has been done, you'll see that the setting is normally done maybe an inch from the edge of the table and also from the plate.
Okay.
And you always eat outside in.
Okay, so which means when you're using the cutlery, you take the ones outside
in, and then you move along as you go. Okay. So we have the salad fork and the salad knife.
Salad fork
and salad knife. Yes. Now to have your meal with both, there's just a little trick. So you just toss these on your index finger, open out like this. Yeah. You toss them both on your index finger, you know, and then you turn it in.
And that's how you eat it?
Yes.
Not the regular way of eating.
So it's easy, isn't it? You just, you know, when you're not sure, just turn it this way, and then you turn it in, and then, yes.
And then you just...
Absolutely.
Okay. So it means that this will be your salad plate.
This would be your salad plate. If you'll notice, it's slightly bigger than the side plates. You know, so this would be your salad plate. It's also used for dessert sometimes. So you would have your salad in front of you. Yes, and then you have that. Now
that is done.
Yes, now that is done. This would be your soup bowl. So yes, we're moving from outside in, remember. Our next one is to use our soup spoon. You will see that the mouth of the spoon is slightly bigger than a dessert spoon. So you have your soup in front of you and you scoop away from you. That's how you have soup. You scoop.
It's not this way.
No, you scoop it away from you. Actually, when you try it a few times, you see it's much more comfortable than just digging in. Yeah. So you scoop that away from you. So we're moving on.
But I have a question.
Yes.
The soup and the salad, which one comes first?
So that's a debate. But you would normally just have the soup and then you have the salad after. Or, you know, in all those Roman times, they would normally have the salad. Some would even have the salad after the mains if there's soup. But we're talking for the basic purposes, you know. Yeah.
So after the soup, what next?
So after the soup, you're going to have your main. You see how big the plate is? This is the ultimate. So we have the joint fork, which is for your main meal, and the joint knife, which is for your main meal as well. You will see that normally these are slightly bigger than the salad ones. They should be, ideally. You'd normally go to places and see the same size forks and knives on the table for the salad and the main. It's actually meant to be slightly bigger, obviously, because you're going to have a lot of food, so you should be able to carry it through. And remember our practice of putting on the index finger and turning it in. Yes. There you go. And this is the other thing. Whilst you're eating, you make sure not to make too much noise. You know, you're cutting and you're being quite respectful of the space and the noise with the next person.
One thing that I would like to ask, you know, sometimes when you're eating, you pause. How do you place the cutlery?
So if you actually want for the waiter not to touch what it is that you've done, you keep it open. Yes.
Basically.
Open. Yes.
Okay.
And a trained waiter normally knows not to touch this.
Okay. All right. Then when you're done with the meal, how do you place it?
You close it up.
Oh.
More like towards the 4 o'clock position.
Okay.
Yes. And they know that you're done.
done.
So moving on swiftly to desserts, you would normally notice a dessert spoon and a dessert fork.
Okay.
That's because we're not sure what you're having for dessert. Okay. Normally you would have a pudding and you would need the spoon or ice cream. And then if you have a cake, yes please. If you have a cake or anything else that's hard, you can use the fork for that as well. Yes. And that goes through the same process, you know, of whatever it is that you want to eat. But you're now using just one hand depending on what you're having.
Is it also slightly smaller than
the salad?
The salad.
Generally, yes, or sometimes they're about the same. Yes. But once you see that it's a really small one, you just eat those in dainty bite sizes. Yes. This is a good recap, actually. We have our white wine first. Remember, we did say that it's slightly smaller than the red wine glass. And then you pinch it at the stem. This is because you don't want to transfer your body temperature into the wine. And then we have the red wine, which is obviously bigger than the white wine glass. And then we have our water glass. Yes. And then for celebratory events, you would see that the guests would say, would like to toast to something. So then we have our champagne glasses. The reason why this is shaped this way is because it's actually sparkling wine and it's shaped this way to keep the bubbles in, which is why.
I see.
Yes.
So it keeps the bubbles
in because the bubbles make it pop.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Yay.
How long does it take for someone to master the art of?
You make it sound like it's so
etiquette.
Complicated. There's actually nothing complicated about this. The best way out is to practice it at home. So set a table yourself. Know that you have your salad and your joints, and then you work your way in, have the main. It's really simple. Actually, this could be a game at home. Yeah. And then you have your dessert, and it just follows through. So it's really not complicated at all. Yes. But especially if you're going to have a business meal, please ensure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one is to take us through the business
we'll go through the breakfast, which varies just a little bit. Before we do that, I needed to quickly mention that this is what you would normally do when you need to use the napkin. Is to just blot. You do not blow your nose in the napkin. You do not put any piece of bone in the napkin. And anything that's unwanted in the meal, you take it out the same way you put it in. So you put it in with a fork. You just bring the fork to your mouth, and then you put it on gently, and then you put it to the side plate.
So let's say you cut a piece of chicken.
Yes.
And you're eating, and you realize there's a bone in it.
Yes.
And you need to bring it out. You need to take the fork to your mouth.
Yes. And then put it
on the side plate.
Yes. If you actually, you can still use your hand if it's bulky or, you know, if you can keep calm about it, it's fine. But generally, the food goes in with something, it should come back out with the same thing. So that's normally done. And quickly, salt and pepper.
On the table?
They are married. They're man and wife. So normally if you're having a business meal and someone says, can you pass me the salt? You have to pass man and wife. You don't just pass the salt. You have to pass them together. Yes.
Interesting. And I know that on a table, if you want something, you need to ask the person next to you. You don't get up to reach out. I mean, Can you explain a little bit of that?
So you would normally pass things on the right-hand side of where you're seated.
Okay.
Normally, you know, just to make it smooth. And
okay. So let's say the salt is here.
Yeah.
And someone is seated on my right.
Yes.
Requesting for the salt.
Yes.
It means you need to pass it on to me.
I can pass it on depending on how many people are here.
Okay.
We'll just pass it around. Like, it's neater than crossing over and, you know, knocking someone's wine down and all of that stuff.
I know usually if it's a bigger table, they have a lot of.
They will have a couple.
One,
yes,
you know,
so you can reach out to it. And actually, they're very fancy ones these days where, you know, you just touch and then it comes from the bottom, and, you know, all those fancy ones.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So
good to know.
The last thing I want to talk about before we finish this is, if in the process of eating or talking and, you know, throwing your hands around, there's a bit of an accident where you drop your cutlery on the floor, you don't duck under the table to get it, because that's what the waiters are there for. So they will just get that and for you, or you just signal to the waiter, and then they'll come and then attend to you. So you don't go looking for the bone or anything that has fallen on the ground. Yes, that's really essential.
All right.
Yes.
That's fine.